In our previous session, we established that the human spirit is an unlimited reservoir of divine DNA, depending on instructions from the conscious mind to act. Welcome to Scripture First, Episode 26, Faith, Increasing the Voltage, Part 2. Now, we must examine the specific mechanics required to increase your spiritual voltage and trigger your spirit into active operation. The first mechanism is the vocal release of the word, speaking to yourself, loudly and clearly enough, for your own ears to hear. Exactly what God says about a situation is how you directly empower your spirit to seize that provision in the unseen realm. When you exhibit absolute confidence, you make your spirit confident. When you act with boldness, you make your spirit bold. Your natural, daily dispositions will either actively charge or severely drain your spirit. This is precisely why God commands believers, over and over in His Word, to fear not. Spiritually speaking, fear is the exact opposite of faith. It acts as a resistance in the circuit, lowering your operational voltage. Conversely, this is also why God admonishes us to rejoice evermore, as Philippians chapter 4, verse 4 states, "Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say, rejoice." And 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 16, "Rejoice evermore." When you rejoice in the Lord, you enable your spirit to tap into heaven's power grid, releasing divine joy directly into your physical timeline. When you relax and maintain complete confidence in God, knowing that everything will be all right, after you have done what is required of you, you open the channel to receive. More than anything else, always speak to yourself, alone in private, keeping your posture relaxed. When your spirit becomes properly pressurized and confident, supernatural results naturally become your standard output. You might ask, what exactly should I say to myself in private? You must speak what God says in absolute, affirmative terms. Confess clearly, "I am healed by the stripes of Jesus." God's words are life and health to my flesh. The Lord is my strength. With long life, the Lord has satisfied me. I have overcome the world. This list of precious, high-voltage provisions is completely inexhaustible. As a matter of fact, you have been handed an open check. As the Scripture declares in Psalms chapter 81, verse 10, "I am the Lord thy God. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it." When you engage this system, it may initially take a moment for the physical manifestation to appear on the screen. Rest assured, it will start to happen. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 20 reminds us, "A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled." Words are incredibly cheap to produce, yet they possess immense structural power. Death and life are held directly in the power of the tongue. Never underestimate your own spoken words, for God equally framed the entire universe by His word. Guard your input carefully. Do not feed your spirit with negative emotions, and deliberately avoid information that drains your voltage. Step up the voltage, and watch your earthly affairs align perfectly with heaven's design. This is Scripture First. Teaching the Word. Living the Word.